Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 5 of the Biscuit Hybrid series here on the Zolder. A wet track awaits us for this evening for 30-minute sprint, the final sprint of the series, with the 3-hour endurance being the final round 6 at Darlington Park. And with me in the commentary box, I am delighted to have Finn. Hello.
Hello, Philip. Thank you for introducing me, and yeah, nice to be here for the final sprint race. As you said, it will. I think I'll be driving for the next one, so today I can still do commentary. And it is extremely wet today out in Zolder.
It is indeed. It is going to be the first wet race, right? Or did we have? We had a little bit of wet race in Suzuka, but this is going to be a proper wet race, as we can see by Felix Schiff spinning in the chicane and barely continuing.
Yeah, it is going to be tricky conditions, and there's enough time for every driver to get used to it here. So it's going to be interesting to see who makes the best out of conditions. Going to be challenging for everyone. And we only have 10 drivers today, so this is always going to be for a lot of points, and you don't want to total your car and have to retire.
Exactly. A 30-minute sprint. First corner is going to count for a lot. Good starting position is going to count for a lot, especially here, since it's Zolder. It is a tough track to overtake, a little bit easier in the rain, but a good position on track. It's going to be key here for the race.
Absolutely, but with only 10 people, the gap between you and the first place and last place, there's only 8 people in between those instead of the usual 20, 25. So equally, I feel like being behind a bit, if you have good race pace, if you are able to overtake and have a good confidence in the car over 30 minutes, there's better opportunities to maybe catch up. But also, some of these drivers that we have here today are some clean drivers, and you can wait for ages for them to make a mistake. They might never do it. With I see Joris, I see Oscar, Nipam is extremely strong, and Hibana Banana also in their own right, extremely strong drivers all around.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of drivers, I'm going to speak about cars here, because since it is a wet race, there are a couple of cars that are better here in the wet. This Porsche being one of them. This is a fantastic car in the wet. It accelerates quickly, the TC is awesome, the grip is just where you need it with the rear-mounted engine. It's not really rear-mounted, but more of a weight to the rear. Unlike the Audis, which I would predict a little bit of a struggle bus this race, since the Audis a little bit too much torque, not that great of a TC, so advantage to the Porsches if you ask me here.
Only for the unenlightened. I think if you are really strong in an Audi, you just vibe with the car very well. Very technical terms right there, but if you're comfortable with it, I think there's a lot of pace you can extract from it. But it's definitely also true that the Porsche, especially in yours' hands, a very capable combination to maybe take the win here today. And even if they are showing us 7th place in the practice session, we do not know the fuel loads that they are running, and we don't know if the pace is representative at all. So, interpret this with caution.
Oh, definitely. The qualifier is going to be the big tell here. Who has the pace and who doesn't have the pace. Oh, that's a big slide by Gregory Kunsabo, ruining that lap, so we'll never see the time. But as I said, Audi, it's a sketch car here.
Yeah, it's a good position there for Zabato so far. Of course, I literally just said you can't, of course, interpret it very well, but still, he's in good company today. It looks like a strong field, and if this is representative, he's doing very well. Only 11th so far in the championship, with the best finishing position of 6th. So maybe today he can grab a podium if he is capable of that.
Kunsabo has pace. Yes, I am expecting a good result here, not with this kind of driving going on the grass. That is extremely sketchy, the wet grass. But yeah, expecting a good result here from Kunsabo. But a car that I'm really looking forward to is this Honda right behind Kunsabo, driven by Sami Kali. Extremely quick car. Another car that's good in the wet. A car that got buffed massively in the final patch. So this could be a chance for Sami.
Yeah, Sammy is a very strong driver in his own right. I think we saw him in silver class in BCSS, but he was always up there competing and fighting, and very exciting to see him sometimes. It's one of those drivers that keeps popping up in our races and always does quite well. Always excited to see him do well, and today hopefully will be no different for him.
We did see Sammy take pole position on Suzuka, believe it or not, by quite a margin, and then managed to be a little bit too excited and missed the starting position. I got a DT instantly for starting too far in the front. So, is this a repeat? Suzuka was wet qualifying. Here we got a wet qualifying, as we do have an 11th driver joining us in Ben Norton.
Yes, exactly. Finally, another driver, but Ben Norton, of course. Also, not a bad driver. Finished pretty good in the endurance race of Suzuka in
Won
first
that
place.
race, yes.
His teammate. yeah, won that with Oscar, and 4th in the first sprint race. Didn't participate in Hungary, but last time around he was 8th. So he's got a good streak of results. 4th in the championship, and of course, looking at the championship, Harry Spears, leader of the championship, dominant driver, has won every race he participated in, is not here today. So there's going to be a chance for people to catch up. And if Nipam wins this race, he's got a very good chance at taking the championship.
Nipam could catch up massively here, as Harry Spears is currently in SRO race, not doing as well as he could have been doing in this race. But anything's gonna be open for the final round at Darlington. We will see who joins, and there's a good load of points there. So it's still everyone's game in this championship.
Yeah, and the points distribution for the endurance race, of course, you are driving in a team with another driver. The idea is that every person that drove the first place car gets the points for first place. So that's kind of how we build up the points. So essentially, after this race, it's going to be interesting between Oscar Saristo and Ben Norton, because the driver that finishes ahead between those two will not be overtaken by their teammate. So essentially, they're going to fight for that person to be as high up, but also for their team's points. So it's very important for them to get good results here today and in the next race.
Oh, exactly, and that would be the practice done, and we're right into quali now with, wow, still more of the same, a 10-minute wet quali session.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything except for a incredibly soaked track today. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, it's considered wet, so you definitely want to be on the wets. It has already been raining a little bit virtually, so the track is properly soaked, and every driver will have to be on their toes. They have to be very reactive to how the track changes, because the weather is light rain. So there's a good chance, actually, that the track improves over time.
I do think we will see track improvement. I do think we will see quicker quali times at the end of the session as the water gets cleared by all of these 11 cars on the track currently. As we're watching Jamie Shaw take us around the lap of the Zolder here with these massive chicanes, a wrong bump here, and a little bit too low of a TC setting might spin you out. I would predict at least a car or two having issues here in the race. Going into the second chicane where Jamie goes very, very deep, and that would be an invalidated lap, and that definitely would have been an invalidated lap going off the track. It's going to be a difficult qualifying session, a difficult race as well in these conditions.
Yeah, Zolder is not easy in terms of avoiding going off track. There are 2-3 chicanes, I believe.
There are 2 chicanes,
yeah,
2 massive ones.
There are 3 chicanes. The last one is fairly free,
wow.
but the other 2 are quite difficult to get right. It's easy to drive around on your Sunday drive, but if you want to actually win a race in it, you're going to have to push a little bit. If you want that pole position, you're going to have to absolutely send it, and that's where the mistakes come in. So we're going to see how the drivers cope with the conditions.
Exactly, as we do see Jamie Shaw going on the first flying lap. That is a Audi behind of Nipam, I believe, and 2 Aston Martins dragging themselves along. Is this F1? What are we seeing here?
Yeah, apparently doing a slipstream at Zolder, which I'm not sure if that's the best idea. So as we see them going through turn 1, very important to keep speed through there, but get aligned to the left for the next corner. A very long right-hander. I think it's double apex as well. And you're going into another right-hander, and that one is especially important to get right, because on the outside there is gravel. If you dip a tire into that, you're losing time for the rest of the straight. He perfects that, wheels on the curb but not over it, and braking into the chicane then. This is quite tough because there are curbs that are quite big. Some cars don't handle them very well, but in this occasion seems to be no problem. And going to the next chicane, It's a right and a left and then a right again, but you can cut the corner quite a bit. And I think that is still legal what he did. Yep, that
It is
absolutely
legal,
is still
yes.
legal. Yeah, so time still counts, and then up this hill. It's easy to lose the car here sometimes. It is the geometry of the track does allow for it into a fairly heavy braking zone, into a tight corner. You do sometimes see battles here because it's easy to make mistakes in the bits prior to this. But you are already coming up to the end of your Zolder lap into the last chicane. I said it's a bit free because there is some margin for error. There's about 2 lines that you can take, and that's enough. But a good exit is important to go across that start-finish straight and ensure that you are in a good position to defend in the race. But that's P3 for Ben Norton.
That was quite a pedestrian lap by Ben Norton, I have to say. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed apexes, and on his 8/10 of Oscar Sarista, his teammate, who's currently P1.
Yeah, Oscar doing a very good job there. Of course, Ben, I think, kind of compromised himself by starting very close behind Oscar. Of course, the dirty air will matter a little bit. These are not Formula 1 cars that are completely undrivable with a clean slate of air ahead of him. But it's still going to be a little bit more difficult to control the car. So, but P3, it's not the end of the world. Still has time to go out and set another lap. As though he's still standing in the pits, but he's driving out right now to go again.
Oh, we do have another driver currently in pole position. That is Sami Kali by just 600ths of a second in that Honda. However, Oscar Sarista is improving massively. Half a second up in that Aston. Is going towards the later part of the lap. Could be... Actually, this is just before the first chicane. Or second chicane. Oh no, that is hairpin. My bad, I completely missed the track. Still half a second up in that Aston Martin. It is a great car in the rain with fantastic traction control, and now with the buff and the lower RPM ranges, this car it's gonna be one of the cars to watch in the rain. Final chicane, going over the curbs, the second curb. Now it's, as Finn said, crucial to accelerate quickly here, and that's gonna be a fantastic lap of Oscar Sarista, if you ask me.
Yeah, it should be. There we go, pole position. That is definitely a good lap, but it's only barely ahead of Jorgis. And although the weather will start getting worse later, that it will be beyond the qualifying session. So as far as we can see, the track may still keep improving. So I don't think that will be the final time that we settle on, but it is it's good to be up there for him for sure. We do also have Jerry Lipponen joining us now. Ooh, I see a big slide on my own screen. Jerry Lipponen has now also joined, so we have 12 drivers today.
Oh, that is fantastic. The more drivers have, the better, especially here on this track. It's gonna make for some interesting racing. And speaking of Jerry Lipponen, unfortunately that car is
he's had a spin.
Yeah.
He's done a spin and then a 360. It was quite brilliant, but he's off again.
Oh,
Trying to get into the rhythm with this. He's a little bit late and probably a little bit pressured because 3 minutes left. Just enough for maybe 2 laps, but yeah, it's still a bit stressful for him, I think.
Oh, that's a Herculean effort. Joining in with 4 minutes left on the clock. Going in, or going out on the track, in and out, he having to set a quick lap time, and spinning on the first lap, or an out lap, and sliding on the second lap. Well, pressure's on Jerry Lipponen here.
Yeah, we'll have to try these conditions out. We do have a practice server, but the weather in this game is dynamic. It will never be the same twice. So it's always going to be a case of driving out, see how the conditions are, see how it feels, see if you can make something out of it. But seems like Jerry doesn't quite have the handle of the conditions right now, and maybe some more time to find for later. We'll have to just seek pace as he goes.
Might just need to settle for a lower end grid starting position and try to do something in the race. It is 30 minutes, and it's not a lot of time to get accustomed to the car, but maybe the others' unfortunate accidents might help him out, but currently the pace is not looking good for Jerry Lipponen.
No, it is maybe not, but we do have to keep in mind that, well, as I see him drive off the track a little bit, these... as I said, the conditions will be different every time, and as a result, the tire pressures are supposed to be different every time. It is very possible that the first run out, which is maybe also why we saw Ben Norton reset earlier, it's very possible on the first run that drivers have completely the wrong tire pressures and, as a result, have very little grip. So we might be seeing that from Jerry right now. Before him, like resetting right now is not really an option.
I don't think he
And
has.
he'll have to make do.
Exactly. I don't think he really has a choice. It's better to, as Steve Muckley manages to get disqualified for an infringement or some kind.
He reversed it to the in the pit lane. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know what compelled him to do that. I don't know what possessed him, but he has been disqualified for qualifying for reversing in the pit lane.
That is a shame, especially since Steve was P8 with that time and was looking good starting in the McLaren. So, well, it is gonna be 12th place for Steve Buckley, and Jerry Lipponen moves up a place without setting a time for now.
I'm gonna quickly have a look to see what happened. Maybe it's memes, maybe it's a mistake. Oh, okay, he did it on purpose. Okay.
Okay, that is,
As we see, Nipam, I think, hit the wall there. Maybe pushing a little bit too hard, but that's going to be the fastest he can be.
Nipam is off.
Are we watching?
We are watching Sarista now, who is 2/10 up. This is a pole time. Pole Delta. Oh no, he loses everything in the final corner. Dropping time, going across the finish line. It wasn't enough.
Time for one lap. He still got a little bit of time for one lap, but he's gonna really have to push, because having a bad exit out of the last corner also bleeds over into your next lap. Sami Cal also currently on a lap, but he's already like a 10th down after 20 seconds into it. So maybe not much
gaining
there.
a lot of time. You have to remember that the conditions are improving with every single lap, and this could be the lap, as Oscar Sarista is up a little bit, just about time that he needs to set the pole position. Nipam is out of this race. Nipam is in pits, not gonna set a faster lap time. Joris also improved on the final lap time. And who's in the shout? Gergely Cruzabo, maybe? No, that's a mistake for Gergely Cruzabo out of the spun. Is the car out completely? That is one broken Audi.
Yeah, that is a big one. Very unfortunate for him that loses him his last opportunity, but that's about it. It's gonna be P5 at best for him. But the session's not over yet.
Oh, this is so close. Sami Kali matching the previous time, but Oscar Sarista up 3/10. We can see them both on the track. Sami just in front of Oscar. This is gonna be the decider for the pole position here.
Yeah, this could be close, but Oscar does seem to have a lot of pace, but I think he just lost a lot of it.
A mistake by Oscar. One single corner, it's all about that. It is 1200s that Sami's ahead.
But it's gonna be closer between Sami. Sami's gonna come across the line first. There's not really an improvement there. But what about Oscar? Oscar is going to improve likely.
No, that is not enough.
It's not enough. No, it's gonna be P3 for him. I don't think there's anyone challenging it. We do see Ben Norton on a decent time, improves to 6 from, I believe it was 8. So that is very good for him, and puts him about 8/10 behind Sami Cal, who takes pole position, and I don't see... No, nobody's going to beat that. So Sami Cal has pole position. Congratulations.
Well, we do still have Felix Chef on a lap, but I think Sami Cal really cemented on himself in pole position. Joris actually was improving, but just about 2/10, but that lap, the exit of the final chicane wasn't good enough for that lap. Felix Chef into P9, and that is the qualifying done and dusted.
Yes, and very nice pole position for Sami Cal. Common W, I think, for him. But very good to see anyway.
It is the second pole position of the series, I believe.
It is the second pole position, and he's the only driver, aside from Harry Spears, who has driven a pole position. So basically, every time Harry hasn't been there, Sami has been there to take that top spot on the grid.
That is an impressive fact. That is something I'll need to tell Sami after. He's going to be extremely proud. But starting Zolder, I believe the pole position is on the inside here. Couldn't be in a better spot with an Audi on the outside and an Aston Martin behind him. This is Sami's race to lose, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. But it will be a rolling start in the wet. It's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. It's not going to be easy for anyone. And the conditions will be completely different this time. We start with heavy rain. It gets a little bit lighter in the future before it gets heavier again, apparently. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people handle the conditions, which are worse now than they were in qualifying.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the rain is gonna increase in 10 minutes and then slowly... Oh yeah, this is medium rain. This is not light rain anymore. The pressures need to go up at least 2 psi, I would say so. But it's gonna be a lot less grip, especially when the tires are cold on the first lap of the race. Oof. It's going to be tricky for our drivers out today.
It'll be extremely difficult, but that makes it more exciting for us. So yeah, I'm happy to see what's going to happen.
And I'll leave you the honors of introducing the starting grid, Finn.
Yes, I do like doing that. In pole position, we have the legend Sammy Cal, second one this season, as we said before, and the only one to get it besides Harry Spears, who isn't here today. He's closely followed by Nipam Shah, who's second in the championship and very likely to take the lead of the championship. But Oscar Saristo, right behind him, can actually stop him. We got Joris Peterswem in the Porsche, maybe a good shout for victory in a very good car for the wet. And behind that we have Gregory Kun Zabel in an Audi. We've got Ben Norton in an Aston Martin, of course a buffed car, very strong car. Let's see what he can do. Hibana Banana in another Audi, cannot write him off. Then we've got Jamie Shaw in P8. Felix Chef is in P9, another Audi behind the McLaren of Jamie Shaw. We've got David Brown in P10. You got Jerry Lipponen in P11, both Audis, and Steve Markley has decided to be last today, and we wish him all the best.
Indeed, Steve's gonna have 11 cars in front of him on the starting grid. That's gonna be a tall ask, if you ask me, to make up any kind of positions, especially if there's accidents, which are very hard to spot in the rain. The spray on the windshield is gonna be massive here in medium rain, so spotting people that spun out, you better have a spotter for you.
I feel like Steve is applying the open lobby strategy of starting last, watching all the crashes happen ahead of you, and then taking first. Which is, I think, while it works in open lobbies, is not going to be so easy in the league races that we organize. Because people generally are relatively clean. I will knock on wood right now.
I'll do that as well. But position gain is position gain. If we see Steve Buckley braking and leaving a 50-meter gap in front of him on the start of the race, well, I wouldn't put him past him. But yeah, probably not the ideal strategy to execute at the start of a race like this. But we shall see. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Zolder, a tricky track.
We will simply have to see what's going to happen. There's no point in speculating so much, because we are going to start very soon. 1 minute 40 until the formation lap starts, where the drivers will try to prepare, try desperately to keep any heat in the tires, which often fails, and then for the start of the race, where we will finally see what's going to happen there, and if Sammy is going to keep that position, or if Nipam or Oscar or Joris will shoot past. And there's a good chance, I think, looking at this grid, that we will have a very exciting race, even for the lead.
Well, the rain is a great equalizer here, both for the start and skill-wise. Even the best of drivers can make that one single mistake that costs them a lot and then be held back by a driver that might not be as fast, especially in this track. The Audi, which usually is pretty exceptional at the start, might not be the best in these wet conditions, so Honda might have the edge. Even at Aston Martin, as I said, the power buff that Aston Martin got, or the better BOP, might allow it to get in front of the Audi into turn 1. This turn 1 is a tight corner, and the drivers will be needing that grip, and the inside line, I think it's the better place to be here.
Yeah, well, it is a decent run to the first corner, but it's not the longest in the world, and it is also a little bit of an awkward corner to try and overtake. It tightens a bit up at the apex. It still allows you to go a little bit wide. There's multiple lines in there. I feel like going around the outside would give you a decent disadvantage. So it might just be about trying to hold on there, try to stay safe for turn 2, turn 3, and into the chicane after that. People are going to have to be smart about how they tackle this.
If Nipam can stick around the outside, then yeah, turn 2 and 3 are on his inside. He's gonna have the good line for that corner. However, sticking around the outside here is tough in these conditions. You're both understeering, and the car that's going to be on your left here is going to be understeering, pushing you wide as well. So, a tricky turn one. Anything can happen here.
Anything can happen indeed. And won't have to wait for very long anymore, because the drivers have started moving in their formation lap. And how that works is, of course, they have to maintain a position. The game will tell them exactly where that is. And they, well, there's a lot of leniency in it. You can go outside of it for a long time before the game starts handing out penalties. I think even then, I think it only matters at the end where you are. They'll go for single foul for quite a while. And at the end, or last sector, they will be told to go double file. And after that, we will start the race.
I do want to keep an eye on Nipam, who I believe what that race was Hungaroring. Spun on the formation lap and just barely managed to get into the position to start the race from P3 back then, I believe. So let's hope Nipam has his DC up at this point.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake twice, of course. I don't think he would be prone to that as much as maybe other people that want to try the same thing. He already knows it doesn't work, and maybe other people are a bit more optimistic about trying to play with a TC, especially in the rain. It can be dangerous, but as long as you don't hit the wall, should be no harm, no foul.
The other issue here for the drivers is that these conditions did change massively from the qualifying, so they had no practice in medium rain. They don't know the tire pressures. It is just pretty much eyeballing it, upping it by maybe a PSI, 2 PSI, who knows. And some of them might still be in that mindset from the qualifying, thinking, hey, I have grip here, I can brake later than, you know. However, medium rain is a completely different ballgame. Medium rain gives you much less grip, much more aquaplaning. If you do not adjust your TC, it is going to spin you out. So, as we see the drivers lining up in rows by 2 now, I'm really expecting a fantastic race and an exciting race and a tough race for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be extremely exciting. We're gonna see what happens then. 12 cars lining up. First, they have to go through the chicane double file, which can cause a couple of issues. So it's important to be in the right position here. Game will be a bit weird about it here, but in a moment they'll be told to stick to a specific speed.
As we do have them line one by one, Nipam on the far right, taking a weird line. As we await the green light, there's the green light. Sammy Colley gets a good start. Nipam does as well. Look at that Porsche from Joris going around the outside of the Aston Martin. Oh, that is Ben Norton going directly into the grass. Goodbye there. Safe rejoin? Yeah, quite a bit. But hey, there we go. Steve Muckley gains a position. Ben Norton in P last after that start. As we do see contact, that was Jerry Lipperton and Felix Schaeffer, right?
There's a couple of people there involved, but further up the grid there's also some argy-bargy going on. With Joris almost taking a position from Oscar, who made a mistake through turn 1, which let Joris go side by side, but it wasn't quite enough to overtake. There was a little bit of a bumping, and the stewards might have a look at that, but there might not be much there, to be honest. Oh,
did you see that jump from the Honda? That was massive, and the Audi behind. I think these guys are really taking it on. As the JB Show was on the sand out there, that slowed him down so much. Hibana Banana gains that position, but massive pressure. Now, oh, that's a spin! That was a spin for Sammy Colley. I don't know if that was a hit from Nipam or not, but it did look like a hit to me. Shall we look at the replay?
I'll have a quick look for you, yeah. Let's have a look.
No, Sammy did it on his own. He spun on his own in second chicane. That's the TC that I was talking about. Getting out of that, the green AstroTurf that's on the chicane. Such unfortunate, but oh, in the last place, Sammy now with Ben Norton and Steve Muckley, the 3 drivers that, well, we didn't really expect to be there, but such a shame for Sammy from P1 to P last.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a case of, well, also the car bouncing a little bit, going over those curbs. Releasing the grip a little bit.
Yellow flag. That is Hibana Banana out with Jamie Shaw as well.
Oh, what happened there? Is this another replay?
We shall see a replay. It seems so. Oh, that's...
It was a collision. Yeah, it was a little bit late, but I did just see that there was a little bit of a collision between 3 drivers, and the other one, I believe, was an orange car. May have been David Brown or Jerry, one of the two. I can't say.
Oh, and we do rejoin on Hibana Banana spinning out again. That is now firmly last place. Dave Brown going on the grass. Grass cutting. Where is this on the track? That is not a common place. This is turn 3, I believe.
Yeah, it's right before it. Before the important turn. Before the as he brings one of the sponsor boards with him as a souvenir.
That is a little bit extra downforce right there.
I hope for him, but I doubt it will help too much. But we did speak about it. The weather conditions are very difficult, and mistakes are very easily made.
As well, Nipam is in the lead. There's a 4-car battle for the lead. Is that Oscar Sarista? That is Oh no, that is Oscar Sarista in P4. He lost out 2 positions. Yes. Like we said, Gergely Kunsabo made up positions on the start. Is now P3 looking for the podium, and these 4 cars are gonna contend. But I think Nipam here is looking like the man on a mission to win the race, and definitely getting a little bit of an advantage, as we do have a 10-second penalty for Jerry Lipponen for that contact.
Well, Legends did speak of an epic battle between Nipam and Jorgis, maybe. And I think there's a possibility that we get it, although maybe, by the looks of it, maybe Joris has to look behind, but that's not even true anymore, as Kunsabo makes a mistake and has to face pressure from Oscar Saristo. And Oscar actually does it. He's ahead now, but can he keep ahead? Because he is not on the right line there. Sabo is going to have a better line there, but it's not going to be enough to force an overtake for now. And I think he has to settle for 4th.
For now, I think so. This Audi just doesn't have that quite at the same pace of the Aston in the wet. As Nipam is dropping back, the Porsche is looking on the pace. This 4-car battle is now beginning to stretch out a little bit as Nipam and Joris are battling out as Oscar and Kunsabo right behind. This is looking very spicy.
Yeah, absolutely. The legendary battle is here, and I think Oscar is also there as maybe sort of third wheel, but absolutely looking to maybe benefit from the titanic battle we're about to see here.
Oh, into the hairpin, the Porsche. Just look at the acceleration of the Porsche. It feels so comfy in the rain. What is the spray? The spray isn't even that bad. They have cleared a lot of water on this track. So Joris has a firm view of Nipam in front. As Joris goes deep, that's going to be a bit of a time loss. Saristo coming for that Porsche. It's going to be a freeway battle for this entire race. Still 25 minutes left. Things are heating up.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best is that these 4 cars that are making up the lead pack are already 8 seconds ahead of the next car by the name of Jerry Lipponen, who is in 5th.
So Jerry Lipponen did not set a time in qualifying, managed to get himself up to P5, and now has a 10-second penalty, unfortunately. What an eventful race for Jerry.
Yeah, of course, maybe not the best start for him, but I think everybody that's behind him also had their fair share of issues. Makvi, of course, starting from the back by choice, but the rest of the people we saw, Dan having an issue, Hibana had a couple of issues, Sammy spun out. So it's been a very attritional race, and these 4 are left as standing without mistake so far. And 24 minutes left. I've only had 6 minutes of it. Could be very exciting.
Who's looking the most comfortable here? Nipam taking a very aggressive line. Sarista actually not taking the aggressive line for the second chicane. Missed that a little bit. Porsche keeping with the Audi. Sarista now dropping a little bit off pace in these conditions.
I wonder what the strategy is gonna be here. Of course, pit stops aren't relevant. Nobody's going to stop here for a sprint race. These cars can comfortably finish the race on their starting fuel. I do believe that David Brown is having an issue at the first chicane, but he's started going again. These cars can easily make it to the end on their on a full fuel tank. 30 minutes is easily doable for all of them. So it's just about driving the pace with the tires that you have. Making sure that they keep working for the entire race and not bullying them too much. So I wonder what the strategy is going to be here, like in terms of when is Joris going to strike? Is he going to try and take the lead as quickly as he can and try to run away? Or is he just going to wait, conserve his tires, and maybe at the end stage a move? Although I believe the Porsche is actually quite bad on tires. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is bad on tires if you you set it up for a lot of sliding, but in the rain, these tires do not degrade a lot. These tires would actually last up to 2 hours, and in these conditions, the Porsche is actually very good on the tires. So tires really shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't even feel the drop, to be honest. These wet tires are... Oh, that's a big jump, but that's a mistake from Nippon.
Yeah, we've got Joris pulling alongside here, looking on the inside for this little kink there, but he doesn't quite have the speed to maintain it. And Nippon defends, but only just...
Oh, that was a big mistake from Nippon, jumping a little bit too much, but look at that, the pack is back together. Sarista's on the back here. Kunsaba, who didn't have the pace, is now just right on the back. One mistake and instantly bunched up.
Absolutely, we've got Oscar also looking at the inside. Even. Oh, but there's contact! Joris, I think, outbroke himself there a little bit, and I think he realizes, because he's not hurrying to go back on track, lets Nippon go. That's an unfortunate mistake, but very good sportsmanship from him. And that's what we like to see. But that does mean that Oscar Saristo takes lead of the race, followed by Kunzabo. And Nippon unfortunately moved back to P3 and probably with some damage there.
Well, we just saw the big swap. Now the two cars that were trailing behind are fighting for the lead. And the Porsche and the Audi both have a little bit of damage to contend with. Audi on the rear, which will make it a little bit more unstable. Ooh, let's see how long it takes for Nippon to adapt. Let's have a big contact. You went out. You need to focus now back on the race. Get your drivings right. Oh, a little bit of a slide from Nippon. I think that damage might be affecting it a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely will have. And that is a very costly mistake in the context of the championship. Of course, Oscar Saristo is fighting for it as well. And with Nippon in P3, it might be enough for him to take the lead and put himself in a brilliant position to take the championship at the last race that we have here, I think in 2 weeks.
There is another fight here developing with Ben Norton catching up on Jerry Lipponen. Jerry doesn't have 10-second penalty, but Ben Norton's not going to be stopped. He wants to progress onwards towards, well, Joris, and I think Ben Norton has the pace here between these two cars.
It does look quite pacey and has been behind Jerry for a little while. Of course, Jerry joined very late and did only a little bit of qualifying. Not particularly well. Oh, the guy is so slidey out there for him. But he keeps it under control. He does have the experience, but maybe not quite the pace today. Maybe a little bit. Oh,
and there goes Jerry.
Unfortunate mistake. Oh, and I think he made a bigger mistake there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he hit the throttle there, putting him back on the racing line, and there's just nothing that Sammy could do about it. He could not prevent hitting Jerry there. Fortunately, that is dropping Jerry also back to like P10. But it does give Ben now the position. P5 for Ben Norton. Sammy Cowell is now 6th, with probably a little bit of damage on the front. Has to worry about Chef behind, Jamie Shaw immediately behind that, and Steve Muckley also following closely. There's a brilliant pack to see there.
Oh, I do want to cut back to this battle just in time. Joris is challenging Nippon. Nippon with a massive slide right there. Joris gonna just cut on the inside. Nippon sticks it on the outside. This is a duel through this corner. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect Nippon to stick the car through there. Nippon now with the inside for the chicane, but does he have enough acceleration to head off the Porsche? No, he does not. They're side by side. Joris thinks smarter of it, doesn't go for the move, but does have again an advantage into acceleration. Gonna have the inside into second chicane.
And you do see the pain of the Porsche because you have such a good exit, but 5 seconds after that the car catches up to your speed and maybe even speeds up even more, and then sometimes just nothing you can do. So you kind of have to be ahead before the straight or during the straight. We do see a little bit of a slide from Nippon, I believe, but he controls the car very well. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for Nippon to keep him behind. Joris has been given a 5-second penalty for that collision earlier. So it's going to be difficult for him to fully overtake Nippon. And he has to worry about Ben Norton, who is almost exactly 5 seconds behind.
This is slowing them down massively. They're now 5 seconds behind the leading duo. And Ben Norton is just going to be inside the 5 seconds. Joris drops it on the acceleration. What a mistake. That is uncharacteristic and spins it again. Oh, Joris, such a shame. That is a massive shame. That was a great fight for P3.
Yeah, it was, but unfortunately, well, one mistake leads into another. I don't think his tyres are in the best position anymore, and the damage will not help either. A mistake unfortunately happened there, and he's just going to have to keep going, because as much as he can make a mistake, so can everybody else. So it's not over until it's over.
And so can David Brown as well. Unfortunately, that Audi looks pretty much second-hand. Now it's a difficult decision. Do you actually pit and repair the damage? Yes, David Brown does it. Yes, that front splitter is about to fall off. Jere Lipponen stopped on the middle of the track. And just barely dodged by the Audi of Hibana Banana. That is very strange.
Has he disconnected? Is that what's going on?
No, I think that might be a hardware failure.
I'm gonna have to... Yeah, he reset to the pits now, so we don't know what happened. I'll keep an eye on the general chat that we have, and maybe we'll get our answers there. But yeah, that's a retirement from Jerry, and I believe David has also left the race, so we are down to 10 drivers.
That was not the day to be a Pineapple Racing Crew car. 2 of the drivers already left. Hibana Banana in the last position. We haven't seen that in ages. They're really not having a good day today.
No, that's rare to see Hibana so far down, but of course we did see a lot of incidents at the start of the race, and things like that do happen. But we do see the beautifully liveried purple cars between, who are they? Steve and
Jamie, 2 teammates as
Jamie.
Steve goes
Yes,
wide. Grass cutting, Jamie's gonna take that.
Yeah, of course. I don't think Steve is supposed to defend that. You did go off track, so, you know, you can't really take an advantage of that.
Well, Steve's not handling that position.
He's not handling that position. Of course, they are teammates, and they're just having fun in just a VC. They are just talking to each other, probably. And as long as they're having fun, I think it's all right. But I think Steve has to concede it for now. Jamie is sort of defending. Oh, but there is a little bit of space. He has a look and almost touches. But, you know, they come out unscathed there.
That is scary, Finn. That kind of move is so scary when the car understeers wide in the wet patch. Whew. I saw a crash happen in there, if I'm honest.
But it's also so tempting because, you know, you have to go for it. It's right there, so you have to go for it.
Oh, I definitely agree, but between teammates, maybe, you know, just keep it chill. There's still chances out there. There's still mistakes. We're just halfway through the race, so more of them might happen. But the field has shrunk up a little bit. This is the closest fight, with Oscar Sarista still leading from Gergely Kunsabo. Nippon not really making an impression. And Ben Norton finding himself in P4.
Yeah, Ben is actually doing a great job. Was already having pulled or he has a decent gap to Joris. I'm not sure if that's pulled or just from that spin still, and maybe Joris is actually faster. Let me have a quick look. He is not. Ben is actually faster, so he's doing a great job.
Ooh, another yellow flag. That's Sami Kali sideways across the track in the Honda. Tries to reverse as Jamie goes wide, takes out another marker. Sami is now going backwards.
We'll have to rejoin the race properly, but he can't really do that if he's facing the wrong way, so he's going to have to do a little bit of a turn there, wait for everybody to go, and he can take his jolly time now, but it's not recommended. And I think he just dropped it on himself. I'm having a quick look at the replay, and
I think so.
Too much curb. Oh, it's actually too much curb. The 3 sources curbs on the last apex completely sent his rear flying. He tried to reverse off the racing line, but the Wild Things racing cars were fighting. Maybe hadn't quite noticed the yellow flag, so one of them had to go off track there.
What a disaster race for Sami. P1 once again, that has 2 pole positions and twice dropped it by his own accord. Oof. Difficult situation, really. Shows you that the Honda is not the easiest car to handle, but still. Such unfortunate, such wretched luck.
It absolutely isn't, but at least I hope he's having fun. Yeah, although the curbs here are quite brutal. If your car is not set up to deal with curbs, or if it's not a BMW or a Bentley, something like that can handle curbs really well. Some of them can absolutely catch you out, and it's not even just a free spin by hitting them. It's just destabilizing the car, followed by too aggressive of an input by the driver. And that often can upset the car to the point that it is unsavable.
However, one thing that we haven't really talked about regarding this track, it's track limits, and JB Shaw has fallen foul of them with a drive-through penalty. I believe that is for track limits. We haven't seen a message from race control, so very early on, 15 minutes, and already getting 4 warnings. Ouch.
We'll quickly check at race control, but I think it's very likely that that's track limits. That is the default. That's the default penalty that the game applies when somebody exceeds 3 track limit warnings. So that is likely what we're seeing here, and it's easily done at Zolder, and it might not be the last to get it.
No, especially in the wet, the track limits are a lot more strict actually. And here it's very, very easy to get them. The second chicane is notoriously flat and easy to cut. And without that little bollard that goes missing on lap 1, you can make a mistake and easily earn yourself a warning.
Absolutely, and I do see Jamie again jumping a curb as well, he was completely fine this time. He completely sent it. It will be another warning because they do reset, but he still has to serve his drive-through, and maybe he's like, I'm just not gonna bother.
That would actually going to be another warning for Jamie right there for cutting the track. That was time gain on that lap, and is that maybe 5 warnings now with still a DP to serve?
He might be going for a world record of most warnings in a lap. He's doing quite well, I think, so far, but somebody should tell him that we're supposed to do something else. Well, that's alright. It's all in good fun. It can be very frustrating, I will say, to drive these races sometimes. If things don't go your way from the start, it can just be a very long 30 minutes. And, well, he's going to box out to a service penalty.
And, serve the first penalty and hopefully not get another one in the remaining 11 minutes of the race.
Is this a prediction?
I'd say yes. I think Jamie's on 2 warnings, and I think he's going to get another 2.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet, to be fair. Judging by his driving, just nothing wrong with his driving normally. It's just where you get a bit frustrated. It stops becoming serious and it starts becoming just doing whatever, you know. It's having a little bit of fun. Maybe I don't think he'll be able to challenge Sammy. He just has to drive his pace and hope to God that somebody spins even harder than he did.
Well, the unfortunate result of all of this shenanigans that happen is that the field is very strung out and nobody really has to push that much. Everybody's kind of at a comfort zone, not really needing to go to the edge, and we're just seeing Oscar Saristo lapping lap after lap with a good pace and, well, protecting his lead from Gregory Kunsaba and P2.
But I want to draw attention to his teammate, actually. Ben Norton is now 2 seconds behind Nipam, and I believe earlier it was like 5 seconds. He is catching Nipam. I think the damage sustained by that crash with Georgius is significant enough that, well, Nipam is slowing down. He is losing pace to it, and that does mean that he will struggle to keep that position. Georgius is still quite quick, though. So, we'll have to see how all of those things turn out, and I think, but I do think Ben has a good shot at a podium, so that would mean a double podium for Oscar and Ben, the Antivirus Racing team.
I think so too. I think there's a very, very good chance of a podium, just if you can keep the pace up. Nipam, a very quick driver, but I think struggling a little bit with the Audi in the wet and struggling with the damage and everything added together. And it's just not been there for Nipam currently. 1.7 seconds, yeah. About half a second more than that per lap. That Ben Norton is quicker than Nipam.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already caught up half a second since I last spoke. That's how quickly it can go sometimes, especially if you have damage. But Nipam doing his very best, and I'm sure he'll try his best to defend if that's still going to be possible. Oscar Sarissa doing a brilliant job in the lead. He has a very, very fast lap in 136.69. Fastest lap of the race right now, and I think he's just hot lapping. He's having a lot of fun out there, I'm sure, even if there's nobody to battle and nobody ready to catch him.
Nobody's really in the 36s right now, apart from Oscar Sarista, who just, as I said, I thought he was in comfort mode, but that's not the case. Oscar's just going.
A man's pushing, he does another 36.9. I think Georgius is closest in pace with a 137.0, so he's still faster than anyone else right now, indisputably, and he's got a very, very good case for taking the lead of the championship here. He's doing a very good job, and his teammates can make it even better for him by overtaking Nipam and moving him down the order.
Yeah, closing up that gap. That's just 1.1 seconds now. It's going to be inside 1 second, so around 5-6 laps to overtake Nipam, something like that. It's gonna be tough. This is a tough track to overtake, especially against a driver who has experience at Nipam, but never say never.
Absolutely. It's not going to be over until it's over. We do still have 7 minutes left. Now, defending for 7 minutes is hard. As I see, I think was that Joris, make a mistake in the background from what I saw, and he's retired. He's retired the car.
Oh, that is unfortunate. I think Joris just had enough of that race not working out and retired from P5. Oh, that's such a shame. Could have kept going. I'm very sad to see Joris now in the pit lane retire that car. Really could have been a solid race.
Hopefully we do get a little bit more detail on what happened there. Maybe it's a hardware failure. Maybe he actually just gave up or made a mistake. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear from him in the general chat that we have. And otherwise, very unfortunate just to retire like that. Hasn't had a good season. He's actually quite far down the order. I think he's finished 1 race. And this is not going to make that any better.
Joris has been really good in qualifying, but then when race comes, just problems on problems. Either hardware failures or not connecting in time, starting from the pit lane. Just awful luck. And this continues here as well. Oh, we do have another yellow flag. Hibana Banana out somewhere. That is Audi going a wrong way, but does a wonderful pirouette. Sammy goes around him. Alright, no contact. That's a position gain for Sammy. Position lost for Hibana Banana. And, well, a little bit of pride lost as well with spinning once more.
Yeah, gonna quickly have a look at what happened there in my own personal replay. It does seem very much like a classic case of the Audi decides to slide, you have to correct it, and he probably overdid it. Oh, he doesn't even correct it to enough, and it just hits the wall.
Ooh, so we do have damage as well. That is unfortunate for Hibana Banana.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much damage because it was just a side tap, but it is damage nevertheless. You might notice it, and but the biggest damage is already done. He's lost a position, and yeah, it's P8 for him.
Well, the biggest damage was joining this race, unfortunately, if you're a PRC member. But oh, that's a spin! That is a spin by Nippam on his own. Nippam dropped it, and Ben Norton goes through.
Yeah, there you go, Ben Norton podium, as earlier stated was possible and predicted, but unfortunately that is not the way we expected it to go. I think Nippam just made a mistake on his own. I think he did. But yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, that is what I said. When you do have two drivers close to each other, the pressure is just mounts and mounts and mounts in these conditions. Oh, we do have another drive-through this time for Sammy Cully. What a race! What a race for Sammy. I am laughing, but this is sad, unfortunately, for the Honda. It started in P1, but now has damage, now has a DT. Just, well, contending with Hibana Banana, who can be the furthest back from the field. Well, actually, no, Jamie Show's gonna be that since he gets another DT probably.
That will be incredibly frustrating for him, but yeah, Nippam just lost it on his own. Under braking, actually. It was simply what would result after a rear lockup. The race just overtaking the front, and nothing you could do about that. I believe that is probably caused by the damage a little bit, and
yeah,
following him through, he is struggling so hard to keep that Audi under control. He might not be very happy with what Joris did earlier this race, so might see some harsh word about that, but yeah, he already apologized in chat. He already understands. Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious. He understands what was wrong. He already waited for him, but that does not fix the car, and Nippam is now gonna have to suffer that, and that will make it more difficult to secure the victory in the championship, because it is important for him to stay up there. Oscar Saristo and Ben Norton are doing a brilliant job in securing a very high position in the championship after this, and they might even have a decent gap to Nippam. But Nippam won't be happy with that. He's currently only 10 points ahead of Oscar, and he's going to be a lot behind after this. So that damage does matter a lot for the championship, unfortunately.
Imagine that, rather than Aston in the championship, where the car really is in favor, then the car getting buffed, but you're still leading the championship even despite that. What a performance by Oscar Sarista and Ben Norton in this hybrid series.
Yeah, they are doing a brilliant job today. I'm quickly having a look at Kun Sabo, and he is not in range to win the championship after this race, I believe. He is simply too far behind, currently 11th with 135 points. And Nippam, for instance, has 295, with Oscar on 285. And Ben on 230. So it's going to be between Nippam, Oscar on one hand. Harry is going to be quite far behind after this race. if standings stay as they are. So it's going to be interesting between Oscar and Nipam, but Nipam does have a much bigger job to do after the incident earlier this race.
Well, here's a car that we haven't really talked that much about. The Gergely Sabo, we mentioned him here and there, but a faultless race. And this is the... Well, that's just fantastic driving. No incidents, not going off track, not making mistakes like Nipam did, for example. And that is P2 for the Saudi that, well, struggled all season and now reaping the benefits.
And the best kind of race in the rain is a boring race if you are a driver. Because that means you've just had no incidents, you've done nothing wrong, there's been nobody that had contact with you. I do see Ibana having a much more interesting race, but it slows them down quite a lot. So Zabo just being perfect, just making no mistakes, maybe not quite having the pace of the leaders, but just doing his job in P2, coming home in that position is such a good performance. So he'll be very happy with that.
I think so too. I think this is a really great result for Kunsabov, showing his wet driving prowess as well. So maybe hoping for Darlington wet race.
Maybe, but also going to be a different challenge altogether. 3 hours. Some drivers do it solo, and some people do it in teams, as is normally intended. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not actually sure if Zabo has a teammate.
He does indeed, and Felix Chef, who's P5 here.
Oh, okay, he's doing good. That is actually a decent team that can challenge Oscar and Norton. Although Felix Chef currently is P10 in the championship. So 1 spot ahead of... his name is Gergely?
Gergely, I think.
Gergely, yes.
I'm not Hungarian. I might have been butchering that name the entire season. I haven't been told otherwise, so I'm gonna assume that is the name.
Hey, if you haven't been told off, it's perfect. So,
then I'm taking it as correct. There we go.
I'm very proud of you, mate.
It's these Hungarian names, what can you do? In any case, this is going to be the last lap of the race for Oscar Sarista, and bearing any kind of massive mistakes, this should be an easy victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, easy maybe not. He did have to keep the car alive in these conditions, and we have seen multiple examples of how difficult that can be, but Oscar has been faultless today. He's been given the lead, but not been given the win today. He has absolutely done a great job, and after this, it's going to be a championship lead for him as well. On top of the fastest lap, as it stands, 136.1, and I think there's one other driver in the 136. It's a 136.997 by Ben Norton in terms of fastest lap. But yeah, absolutely uncontested at the front, Oscar, after the little incident between Joris and Nipam, which we'll have a lot of discussion about it, I'm sure.
Well, that was eventful race. Sabi spinning himself. A little bit of incident between Joris and Nipam, and Oscar says to just reaping the benefits. Taking the win, driving solid all race long, fastest lap by a good margin from anyone else. And what else is there to say? A well-deserved victory. Only a couple more corners to go.
Absolutely. Through the hairpin. Slows down the car perfectly fine. So not much that can go wrong there. In the next chicane, we have seen some mistakes there over the curbs or just wide. But there's no need for Oscar to push it. He might do it anyway if he's really comfortable with the car. Sometimes you do just get in the flow and you race it as fast as you can. But no issues here for Oscar. He lines up next to the pit wall to say hello to his team, to celebrate for a brilliant P1 in the race. Oscar Soristo wins.
Well done, well done. And Gergely Kunsabo, second in an Audi, also no issues, just chill drive. And P3, Ben Norton, who hasn't yet crossed the finish line when that happened, so I don't know if that was a mistake or a little bit of an awkward celebration hitting the wall, but that's P3 and P1 and 3 for this antivirus team of Ben Norton and Oscar Soristo.
Yeah, brilliant job from both of them. I think I can both be very happy with that. As I'm quickly going to apply my job in writing down the results as quickly as I can, so we can quickly have a good overview of the standings in the championship.
And that is Steve Muckley in P6. After disqualification in the qualifying, starting last, now spinning the car, hitting the unfortunate Audi that stopped there, and well, P6 for Steve, not a bad result. And here comes Hibana Banana, the Audi that, well, the only PRC Audi that did end up surviving, but, well, barely surviving. Just going on the front straight, crossing the finish line, P7, not what Hibana Banana expected, but this really has been a championship to forget. Jamie Shaw in the McLaren number 4, right behind him, and then we have our pole sitter, Sami Kali in the Honda, P last, P9, after being on pole. Oh, what unfortunate race.
Big tragedy for him, but it's kind of also been the story of the season for him. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is sometimes, but still finished the race, still gets some points for it. Quite a lot of points, actually, because they go all the way down to 30, if I recall correctly.
They do, yeah, for not much reason, but yeah, there we go. And let us check the standings after this race. This is Oscar Saristo winning with Gregory Kunsabo in second. Ben Norton taking the last step on the podium for the team. Nipam Shah after the difficult race, P4, but Felix Chef, P5. That's the team of Kunsabo, so some good points there. Steve Muckley, P6 after starting last with Hibana Banana, P7, Jamie Shaw in P8, and Sami Kali running up the final car that finished this in P9, with the DNFs being Joris Peterswim, Jerry Lipponen, and Dave Brown.
Yes, last year, of course. Unfortunately not finishing, but happy to have them regardless. And in the championship, that means Oscar Soristo takes the lead with 391 ahead of Nipam Shah, who has 370 points.
Wow.
And Harry Spears follows that, P3 with 312 points, which is a big gap that he's not going to close easily. He needs a lot of luck to have that happen. Ben Norton is in P4 with 310, so very close behind Harry, actually. Sami Cal in P5 in the championship with 246, 244 behind is Felix Chef, so it's a very small gap between those two. And Gergely Kunsabo is in P7, tied with Matteo, actually. They both have 225 points. Quick rundown of the top 8 of the championship.
Indeed. I'm really hoping that we get, and we do have Mr. Saristo coming on for an interview with us right now. Welcome to the commentary booth, Oscar Saristo. How was that race? And, well, first of all, congratulations on the win. How did everything happen?
The two guys in front got punted, and that's about it. Just cruising around. Because the Aston is back, as they say.
Aston is back, but that was a great pace. You were the only person doing 36s consistently, so, well, saying it was easy, you'd have the pace to win this race. How did you do it? What was the setup? How was the weather? Or what was the secret?
The setup, I just... Obviously, this is ACC, everybody just click some buttons, which I did too. But it was a good base for the setup that I got from a friend. And yeah, it's just... I don't know. Everything just clicked in.
Well, I think Finn has a very welcome announcement for you as well.
Yes, after that race, you are currently the championship leader. You lead Nipam Shah by 21 points. You've got 391, he's got 370. How do you feel about that?
Surprised. But also kind of cheesy, because obviously there's a lot of people missing. Namely Spears, who is obviously fastest. But yeah, if I'm in the lead, that's great.
I think you can be very happy with it. Today, you say, well, the leaders made a mistake, they punted each other, you took the lead, and that was the end of the race for you. But it was still, I think, pretty tough to keep the car on the road. We saw a lot of people making mistakes. How did that feel in your car? Was it just entirely stable and harder to lose it than not to? Or were you actually fighting the car in places?
Well, obviously if I go on the curb, it's gonna be a bit dodgy, especially now with the buff making the Aston a bit more slidey with the added power. But I mean, wasn't that special. Wet race, so just have to be a bit careful.
All right, next time out, Darlington in 2 weeks. What are your thoughts on that? It's another team event, 3-hour event. You won the last one. What are your chances for the next one?
I don't know. Honestly, no clue about the pace after the buffs for the Aston, and I'm generally not very good at Darlington anyways. I keep making stupid mistakes, so expect to not see anything special, unless there's obviously some dodgy weather again.
Oh, I think he told me again that same thing before the Suzuka race, and we know how that ended. So, well, Finn, do you have any more questions for our winner today?
No, I'm just happy you're in good spirits. Of course, the Aston is back, and you've shown that today with your teammate Ben, who also grabbed a brilliant podium. And actually, I want to have a quick look, so don't go yet. If I go to
Yeah, do tell if we've already backed the championship for the teams, because that would be great.
let me see. Actually, you are our Tickle Racing team, and you have 701 points,
That's a lot.
which
of
is a
points.
lot. But I think technically you can be overtaken by VRM Racing. Technically.
Technically sounds good enough.
So
Unlikely, but
if you finish the race next time, you probably have it, and congratulations for that. But I think you have to worry about the drivers' championship and not fall too far behind Nipam in the next race.
yeah.
And
Well, that's
change
the goal
these
for next
races.
week then. Not bin it. Oh, not next week, but
2
the
weeks
next
time.
race. Yeah, next race.
Yes, that will be a very interesting race between the Tiggle Racing team and the VRM Racing. Will be Oscar Saristo and Ben Norton against Nipam Shah and James de Havilland, who also has very good pace. So it's going to be a very cool race.
All
I do
right.
have to say that don't even try to ask for the two others on the podium for an interview. They're not gonna come.
No, I mean, we only expected you. It's a funny thing. We either have Harry Spears on you for the interview, so yeah, have to give you props for that. A great race, and hope to see you in 2 weeks' time.
Sure, that was good. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and that would be it. We conclude our broadcast with that 30-minute sprint, and we conclude the final sprint of the hybrid championship. The next one being a 3-hour Darlington endurance, which you are driving, Finn. And are you looking forward to that?
Well, I think Darlington is actually an acceptable track. Normally, I don't quite enjoy this game because it's not made for me. But these endurance races can be a lot of fun. Often, of course, having someone with you, normally Andre, should be a lot of fun. And normally we also go on a voice chat with Ryan and Michael Vavier, or Martin as he's sometimes called. And we just have a lot of fun there. So I am looking forward to that. That should be just a good time. And we'll see how the race turns out.
Yeah, I hope so too. That we'll have a good time. I'll be here in the commentary booth, and yeah, that will be it for tonight. Thank you very much, Finn, for being here with me, and yeah, good luck next time, and see you around.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for watching.
All right, good night, everyone.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
If you have been watching and you've been enjoying it, we will have another race tomorrow. Will be a Formula 1 race, AMS2. If you want to have a notification when it happens, don't forget to follow. And hopefully we'll see you there. And also for the finale of this championship, which is on the 10th of September. So it's 2 weeks away.
All right, then. See you around, everybody. Good night.